I remember being at the dance studio and I called the doctor from the studio. We didn't have cell phone in those days, and I called and, you know, the guy said, yeah, you're positive, and hung up. I was diagnosed with AIDS, you know, with full-blown AIDS right away, so that was kind of a shock. I lost my sight, part of my sight in my right eye, and I was very sick in 1989. In those days, you could only take AZT. That's the only meds you could take, and it made you sick and everything, and most people didn't live anyway.
They still live their lives as a couple together. Richard, on one hand, is extremely focused. Richard took all the medications he was supposed to. He would come into work sometimes so sick, so terribly sick, but they told him, you have to take this medicine. It made him so ill, but he kept taking it.
A lot of people always ask me, weren't you upset that he gave it to you, you know? I mean, he didn't do it on purpose. We didn't know.
And Martin, on the other hand, was not so dedicated to taking the medicine because it made him so ill, didn't take it, and died.
Martin was scared of dying, and I always say it's horrible, horrible, horrible. Horrible to see somebody that's so scared of dying. What can you do? You cannot say, oh, it's fine. Well, it's not fine, they're dying. A lot of people got cut in the middle a lot of the times, but it's special that, you know, everybody's here. Anything in life, when you're going on your path, on your road, and you suddenly have a block, you have two choices. You can go left, which is down, negative, or you can go right, positive. My friend Martin, that passed away from AIDS in '96, chose the left. He was, you know, he chose to not take his medication, not take care of him because he was scared or whatever the reason are. And I call it committed slow suicide. I choose to go right, you know, and I think because I tried to commit suicide before, I thought, I don't want to go there, I want to live. I choose right and want to live.
And when I was in Hawaii dancing competition, he got sick, and he had a high fever, and I took care of him, but he was so bad. But his mind is very strong, and then he tried very hard to do it.
I mean, I've seen him through happy times and very sad times, and he doesn't dwell there, you know. He mourns what he needs to mourn, but even in his mourning, he's inspirational because, again, he sees the light rather than the dark of everything.
I think because he has such a positive attitude on life, and he's so motivated to stay active, he has maintained his health, his good health, I must say, through dancing.
He does exactly what he's supposed to do in taking care of his health. And he just lives his life like he doesn't have anything wrong with him. He doesn't complain about it. He's just extremely positive. He still dances. In fact, even when he knew he had, you know, HIV and he was sick at times, he was competing, dancing. Competed all over the country, represented the United States in lots of competitions. Even sick as he was sometimes, he would get out there and dance. They always placed in the final.
This is Richard Croteau and Maria Z from California.
Dancing to Somewhere in Time. I talked to Richard right before they went onto the floor, and he's actually suffering from the flu and has a very high fever.
They're dancing in competition with the flu.
Nothing really has ever held him back. I don't ever think it will. He's just an extremely strong person. Very, very dedicated, strong-willed person.
I never thought I would live past 2000. So, you know, you think, oh, okay, I want to live until then. So you kind of take 1 year at a time, and you just live and just do whatever it takes.
There were times where he'd get sick, and you know, I lived here in Orange County, and I would run to LA to take care of him, stay there a couple of days and take care of him until he was better, make sure he didn't have to go to the hospital. So when Michael came into the picture, it was nice for me too, because I had somebody to share all of taking care of him.
Richard and I met in 1997, 12 years ago, at basically a dating service.
It was like my, like my 10th dinner.
It was sort of speed dating, but before speed dating.
It was actually Michael's first.
Everybody sat around in groups of different tables.
And there was like 8 people each table, and every other person, so 4 of them were like frogs.
So that person hopped from table to table, and if you didn't have a frog, you stayed in your seat.
So between each course, the frog people would move table. So that way you get to meet a lot of people and talk to them.
He said he was a ballroom dancer.
And I had to leave early because I had to go to a party. So I remember leaving really, really quick, and before I left, Michael wasn't sitting at my table anymore, but I went to him and I gave him my business card and I said, to him, call me.
And I said, oh, okay. I was a little surprised, and he left, and that's how we met.
We met and he tried to call me back, and then I would never call him because I was away. And then when I came back, I was in the hospital for almost the whole month of January. So he actually came to my house, I think, at that time to see if I was there. And obviously, I had my car there, but I was in the hospital. So he thought I never would call him back.
I had a very romantic idea of wanting a boyfriend. I don't care how many rings you buy or how fancy they are, it doesn't make it happen. You can't force it. So to have somebody love you actually is a privilege. I don't want to say an honor, but it's an amazing thing. Topic of HIV came up immediately. Richard was honest from date one. I already had experience with this because in the late 80s and early 90s, I actually lost all of my best friends. We just celebrated our 12th year in December, and the date is, anniversaries are not so clear when you don't have a wedding.
I tell people, I've been the healthiest lately. I used to be in the hospital and everything. And one of the reasons I'm the healthiest, obviously, is because I have a comfortable home. He cooks. He takes very good care. I always say, technically, he takes good care of me. A while ago, when I used to live on Orange, on the Overland. Yes. And I was very sick. And then she would come and bring me the strawberries, and she would make homemade soup. Huh?
That's so nice.
Mm-hmm. She used to be my lunch date.
That's nice.
I have a lot of my, friends and student clients. They always say, oh, I wish I could do this. I wish I would have done this when I was young. I wish I could do this. Again, I'm like, why are you wishing? Do it. Your tools need to be out. If they're in, it's so closed. Just like Lucille, 94 years old, that I've known her for over 20 years, over my head, balancing on one hand. Now, how many 94-year-old lady do you know that dance? You raise me.
They've all come into his life, and he's come into their life for a reason.
I don't even do the competitions nowadays, but he still pushes me to try to help me improve, and I really do appreciate that.
So very often I said, oh no, I cannot do the patterns. No, I don't want to do that. But he always says, no, you can do it.
He gets me to learn the stuff, and that's the best thing.
Most of the time he's like comedian, and then dancing is my therapy. He just makes me laugh whole time when I'm here.
I forget I'm a doctor. I don't even want to talk about anything that has to do with medicine that day. So we just talk about dancing, about my hair, about dresses, about shopping.
He's very kind of funny and making jokes. He's a fun person to be with. And he's a great teacher and also become my best friend.
I think he's an incredible human being. I think he's an example for all of us.
What do you remember when somebody dies? What do you have left? Memories, first of all. So memories, do you think, oh, I remember when I bought the car? No, you just remember when we went on this vacation and we went swimming and it was funny because this happened.
With Richard, it's almost like we take it a trip at a time. His horizon is planning the next trip. That's his big thing.
His general philosophy is to live every moment to its absolute fullest, and he does it with 100% commitment.
My friends think I overdo it. I want to live 150%. You know, I want to overdo it, I guess. They think, you know, I never stop or whatever. But that's who I am, you know.
He lives his life probably more passionately than most people will ever live their lives. It's not stopped him doing anything that he's wanted to do. In fact, it's probably made him do more than he would have if he didn't have the disease.
I want to dance, I want to travel, I want to eat, you know, oysters. So, I mean, you know, I want to do things. So, I don't want to die yet, not yet, you know.